NERDSoul.
Late Ilkit at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people? Today, all year, got another wonderful episode of movie reviews and specials together because I have a dope, awesome panel together.
We are a panel, aren't we?
Yeah, it's a panel. Panel.
I think more than one calls it a panel.
All right, so I'm going to let you know you're really special because you're getting me on a panel before San Diego Comic-Con. I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that. So.
See, that's what we do. Yeah. So, starting from your left to right, look, this right here, all right?
Start next to him.
Arckatron.
Hello, people.
That's
all I gotta say.
My man, Solar Greye.
Hey guys, it's Solar Greye, the cinematic sorcerer. I don't have the spell with me today because we are not in the Wizard's Tower for once.
Yeah, this is like our first time outside. No. WonderCon.
Yeah.
Good point.
The convention.
And then, of course, on the very end, Anthony Kennedy, QA Podcast and Juice.
Podcast Juice, yes.
Podcast Juice.
Podcast Juice. I like
that.
I like that.
Juice.
Yes,
podcast Juice.
Yes.
They got the podcast juice. Lizzo got the juice. All that good stuff.
And remember, it's for the culture.
All right. It's for the culture. But we're here to talk about, of course, Avengers Endgame. This is straight full-on spoilers. It's been a full weekend.
Y'all had your chance.
Everyone's had an opportunity to see it.
It's been out since Thursday.
Yes. So if you
actually, it's been out since Tuesday. If you got a Fire Stick.
Yeah, exactly. So.
We don't promote that, but I'm just saying if you got it, you got it.
Look, it's been like 5 days. This is the most anticipated movie of the past year. The most.
So everyone's seen it. So let's get into it. Biggest moment of the movie for you?
Me?
Yeah.
Jeez, don't put me on the spot like that. I don't know.
Here?
Yeah, maybe.
Biggest moment? See, that's a tough one because this movie, by the book, all right, by all the rules of filmmaking. Like there's an old saying of every great movie is made up of a bunch of good scenes and a few great scenes.
Okay.
And this movie had more than its fair share of great scenes. So asking me which is the one. That's a tough one. That's going to take a few more.
All right, I'll set it off.
I got it.
Okay.
I got you. The biggest moment, and I think it was 10 seconds. It was Cap. On your left.
On your left. Yeah, on your left.
Then first Black Panther came through a portal, and then over his shoulder you started seeing all the
everybody
other
else.
portals. And you knew it's about to hit the fan.
Yeah,
it's on. And that was straight dope because before that, he's walking up by himself. You get to see the kind of man Cap is. Cap was like, you know what? Fine. Ain't no here.
Yeah.
Ain't no over here.
As established in Captain America: First Avenger.
Yeah.
As puny little Steve Rogers in an alley, he was, I can do this all day.
Yeah.
And now as a super soldier, getting his buttocks handed to him on a platter with a bow. He gets up to keep doing it because the day ain't over.
And what I liked about that moment is I think the audience was expecting him to say, I can do this all day.
Well, yeah, but we'd already seen that.
Yeah.
But he was just like, no, it ain't no time for words.
and that shot with him by himself walking towards them was crazy. But my big moment, when he grabbed that hammer, boy, I ain't gonna front. I ain't gonna front. When he grabbed that hammer, boy, I was like, yo. Like, I was going crazy in the theater because I was just like, yo, he did it. He did it. Like, you know, he made it budge a little bit, but he was like, you know what? I ain't got to shine on Thor like that. It ain't my time to do that. When he was like, you know what? Look, I need this.
See, I really like how you put me in between everybody because I'm the closest thing to a voice of dissent here today. Because I wasn't moved at all. When
Really?
showed up. I was not. They had already established it in Age of Ultron, and this is the problem with living in the 21st century.
Okay.
We have access to all of the trade papers. So everybody going into this knew Downey is done. Evans is done. So as far as Chris Evans being done as Captain America, you give Captain America everything you've been wanting to show him do for the past 10 years in these movies. So he picks up the hammer. Well, yeah, everybody's been wanting to see him pick up the hammer since the party scene in Age of Ultron. And this was the big payoff.
Well,
Now,
you mentioned Detroit, and I don't mean to contradict you, but I've been hearing Robert Downey Jr. has been done for, 4 films? Chris Evans talking about he wants to be done with Cap. So my thing, I wasn't expecting that because I didn't really believe that they would be done with those characters. It seemed to me that Robert Downey Jr. likes being Iron Man. I would argue this wasn't his call. Unlike Han Solo and Harrison Ford, I would argue this probably wasn't his call.
I don't know. I know he likes being Iron Man, and let's face it.
And it's a lot of money.
Anybody here, that's what I was about to say. All of us like that cargo container full of gold bars that he gets for being Iron Man. But to answer your question, my big moment, it was not Cap with the shield. It wasn't On Your Left, all right? Although On Your Left was that was a great callback to my favorite movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe thus far, being Winter Soldier. It was the blink and you'll miss it throwaway shot of A-Force. The all-woman Avengers team. I'm like, you go. Only thing wrong with that shot is that we didn't need Pepper. But everybody else.
Well, is it missing someone?
Huh?
I mean, it's missing a bunch of people, but
it's missing everybody that they don't have the licenses to. But I would have rather Riri as Ironheart. But I've never liked the Pepper Potts character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Cool.
Okay, so
I wish there was one person in that scene, but she wasn't there anymore.
Oh wait, which one? I was gonna say.
And Black Widow was.
Is she a white girl or green girl?
Well, yeah, because Gamora.
Wait, was she in that? No, she was in that scene.
Who?
Gamora.
No, I was talking about Black Widow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And she couldn't.
She couldn't. She took
an L. She took an unfortunate L.
She sacrificed.
She was doing what
for the greater good.
Yeah, she was doing what every hero is supposed to do, and that was the whole thing.
I mean, if you want to go deep with that, I think Black Widow sacrificing herself was just, one, her past, her problematic past, as she's spoken to it, and two, I felt like she felt like she didn't have anything to live for, especially in contrast to Clint.
And we kind of get some of that in Ultron, right? In Ultron, when she's talking to Banner,
we
get some of that where she feels like she's
story came out.
Yeah, when she kind of gets this, we get this piece from her where it's like, I'm just kind of drifting here. I'm on borrowed time. I shouldn't even be alive right now.
Well, they established that in Act 1 with the peanut butter sandwich. On that one too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Explain that one to me.
What? That peanut butter sandwich?
No, not the peanut.
There was a peanut butter sandwich. When she was talking to Cap, saying, "Before I had this job made me a better person. Now that the world is the way it is, I got to keep doing this job because this is all I got." And it was like, okay, all right, that was a really good hint. It was a really good moment of insight into that character, which would have been made better if she got her own movie. But
they waited way too long for it. Huh? They waited way too long.
Well, honestly,
I think a movie it had to have been by phase 2. After phase 2, I think her time for having a movie had passed.
See, I disagree.
I think they should have had it early. If they would have had her movie, say at the beginning of phase 2, or some kind of either like her and Hawkeye at say beginning of phase 2, I think we would have been great. But I think once we got to the cosmic, people were like, whatever.
Well, I think after Winter Soldier, because I was actually watching that this morning, because they running all of the movies. I was like, damn, that's when after Winter Soldier, she should have had her movie. And in my opinion, we didn't need Guardians of the Galaxy compared to the Black Widow.
All right.
Well, now,
I'm sorry.
I'm not
Guardians
the only
of the Galaxy
here.
Volume 2. The first one, yes. Volume 2, I'm like, we could have skipped over that.
I don't know. Okay. I got to disagree with you on that one, but that's a discussion for another day. I will say this. There were a lot of manly tears moment in this movie.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest one that stuck out to me was, apropos of what we were talking about, the fight between her and Hawkeye. Okay, because I'm going, number one, their friendship has been a staple in this
for a long time.
For a very long time.
Platonic friendship on top of it.
Well, there were some moments of
that was very important. They showed.
Yeah, and I remember back in Age of Ultron, let's face it, the worst of all the Avengers movies. But when they got to Hawkeye's house and Hawkeye's daughter was like, Aunt Natalie. You get this sense of like,
You get this sense of like
they've
family.
been- yeah, they
Family.
are close. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There
Get
should have
that
been
family.
Groot. There should have been Groot in the background going, "We're family. I'm Groot. I'm Superman." Oh, I'm getting all my franchises mixed up. But yeah, so I mean, watching those two fight over which one they think the world needs more, and that was a really big tear-jerking moment for me.
And they didn't know going into it because no one knew except Thanos. and
But we
Gamora.
did.
I think Nebula had it.
Yeah,
Cool.
Nebula knew. Nebula knew.
But I don't think she knew about though. You had to.
True.
She could have just killed her like, oh,
That's-
you,
no,
you,
that's
you
a
took
good
this
point.
stone.
Yeah.
You're gone now. Like
Well,
I don't need you anymore.
yeah.
But
True.
so
yeah.
that's crazy that those two were the ones that had to go to that one. So it's
And I guess
it's a good setup for that.
Yeah, as a setup, as you know, the audience, we were like, oh, this ain't a good look.
Yeah, because it's the same
Yeah.
music, the same
You know,
music. You know, like, oh, somebody
Because
gotta
even
go.
though she's like, well, I have nothing to live for. It's like, no, we're your family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I guess not that she didn't value them as family, but maybe she never felt like she fit deep down.
See, what I
who knows?
saw was, it's not that she didn't think she had nothing to live for,
Okay.
but he had more.
All right,
It
got
was
you.
like, I am me, the Avengers are my family, and that's cool, but I don't have any kids to raise. I don't have anybody
Yeah.
looking up to me
Okay.
on that, you know?
Good point.
So she's looking at it like needs of the many. You know, if she goes, she's gone, her friends will grieve like adults grieve, and in a couple of years, she won't be thought about every day. But if you had the choice, as much as I hate to quote Frank Miller, because I'm not a Frank Miller fan, but old man dies so young girl can live. In this one, grown woman dies so two kids get a father.
Was it 3?
I had 3 kids, I forgot.
And the
yeah.
wife.
Yeah.
The thing that I picked up out of it, my first run through, when I saw the Avengers, I kept looking at my watch, like, because I knew it was 3 hours, and I'm like,
man. See,
I know,
I
but
even looked
see,
at my
man,
phone.
and I had to
sit and
a couple
enjoy. You
times I had
can't even enjoy it.
You're right. That's just a failure on my part. So when I first went through all that, I was like, okay, can we hurry up and get to the more impactful
Actually,
things?
I gotta
And
ask, how close are you to middle age?
I'll be 42 in August.
Okay, see, so we can say something to you guys being a little bit younger. Those 3-hour movies are cool and dandy, and we like the intense writing. But after a while, your back starts hurting, your feet start hurting. Just So I was feeling.
But I
like
do
come
get
at full.
antsy. I ain't gonna lie. I was getting antsy, like, okay, come on, let's go. And then we got 3 hours. Come on, let's go. But the thing was like, and me being distracted by that, I really didn't I really didn't properly absorb those scenes until after I got out of it and I thought about everything. I was like, damn. That Clint and Natalie scenes was so impactful because he was ready to die because he thought that was the only way he could be with his family. And she had to talk him out of it, actually trick him out of it.
Oh, you mean the don't
Yeah.
give
and
me
be like,
hope scene?
and it's like, no, you need to live so you can see your family. It's like, no, we gonna fix this.
Yeah,
and you
we
need
gonna
to
win.
be here to be with your family. I can go.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah, and looking at that, I'm just like, why couldn't they have brought Loki? Now, what I will say about this is, again, I left the theater, and I told you this off screen, but since we're doing this on YouTube, and your fathers are going to look at me going, I've been liking this guy. I'm sorry, okay?
Look,
I
you can
didn't-
still like him.
I didn't leave the movie hyped. I did not leave the movie
But
hyped.
see, that's why I was like, you're a great person to have here. Because since you weren't hyped,
Yeah.
find out why. Why didn't it hit you? Why didn't it hit you like you thought it
I
would?
have been agonizing over that question since Friday evening.
Wow.
Okay, I'm like, what was it and I think I finally got my hands on it.
Okay.
Comic books, specifically comic heroes, at the end of the day, at the end of every story arc, being Batman, Contagion, Infinity Gauntlet, the comic book, Secret Empire, Batman Metal,
Understood.
name your event.
Yeah,
at
the
end-
metal series is
Well,
crazy good.
at the end of the day, the heroes are trying to get everything back to the status quo. But the format of the story tends to be status quo, crazy person, things fall apart, heroes fight, and everything goes back to normal.
Okay.
And this movie started. I realize it's a part 2. It's like Deathly Hallows.
It's
part
essentially one big movie, but 5.5 hours is a lot to ask.
I liked Dune back in the 80s, but the thing was, this movie starts with everything has fallen apart, and it ends with not everything is back together. It was a happy enough ending, but it had been 5 years. The world had fallen apart. I mean, I think my favorite shot in the movie was Scott Lang going home to find his daughter.
Yeah.
And you get to see the street with no street sweeping. Nobody's maintaining their lawns. You got dead cars on the side of the road on
And that
brakes
look
with
for
rusted.
the kid, that look from that kid when he was like,
Like,
what's
what
going
happened?
on?
It's like,
and he
"Oh,
looked around
wake
like,
up."
yeah. It was kind of like this look of like anger and resentment, and I was like, that little kid gave one look, but he kind of held it down.
No, yeah, that look was like, look,
Why you
even
asking me? You know what happened.
that look was like, my uncle's been locked up for breeding illegal reptiles, and even he knows, you know? And so you see the world has fallen apart over that 5-year jump. And at the end of the movie, when everybody comes back and we get the great big CGI battle at the end, and you get that great look on Thanos when he's like, oh, well, I didn't see this coming. All right, you, good job with the pickpocketing, and you did that. So I'm gonna just sit down, because I know I already lost. But what you didn't get, they gave us a funeral instead of, okay, the world's back to normal.
But
They didn't give us that.
Well,
'Cause
but
we
see,
You
the
wanted-
thing-
wanted the world back to normal?
It wasn't that I wanted the world back to normal. It was, I went through all this. I went from the world, on a scale of 1 to 10, the movie starts with the world at 2, and it ends with the world at 6.
But that's one thing that I've liked about this movie, and a couple of other movies that I won't mention because I know people get upset. But one thing that I like about this is that it's kind of like real life. You ain't never gonna get everything you want sometimes.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's like,
I'm with y'all
all
on
you're gonna
all
do-
that.
And the thing is,
I'm
it's
with
like
y'all on all that. But if I'm gonna spend $35 on a movie, I don't want to see real life.
first of all, you spent $35 movie.
well, what
happy
he's giving a good example. Like say for example, you pay. Well, see, we're in LA, but let's say you put down say $15 for a ticket. Then you pay the park. Then you get popcorn and soda.
Okay.
You could easily be up $30, $50.
And
But see, the
over
thing
in
of
my
it-
neck
And
of
then
the
if you
woods-
bring a date or something, it
dude.
can easily
Over in
you
my
can
neck of the
easily-
woods,
yeah.
there are no movie theaters that don't have the reclining seats and assigned seats
yeah.
and all that. So I didn't have a choice but to pay the super. You get the high price and then the super high ArcLight Alamo Draft House prices.
Yeah.
And so if I'm going to drop that much on a movie with superheroes, I don't want a bittersweet ending. I want happy, the world has been saved, my heroes have done their job. If I wanted The Godfather, I would have watched The Godfather.
Okay, but you
all
got
right.
that though. The problem is here's the happy ending. Half the universe is alive again.
With a whole bunch to clean up.
Okay.
But at least you have enough people to clean it
got
up now. You have more
jobs.
people to
Now
Which
clean
do
it
you
up.
think
You have more
the
humans
MCU
to clean
people
it up.
prefer? Half the universe gone and got to clean it up, or half not gone? And
I would rather have seen, okay, the world's back to normal, everybody's happy.
Well, we did see Peter
Wakanda?
go to school,
Yeah.
and you could see them kind of picking the pieces back up together.
Picking
but
up the pieces,
Pick
I
up
would have
pieces.
rather have seen
Pick
the
up the
pieces
pieces.
picked up than the funeral of Iron Man. I would
Okay.
have preferred that.
Oh, so kind of swap those scenes,
Yes,
maybe.
yeah,
Okay,
because-
because we
I
did
like-
What scenes? What scenes?
meaning have the funeral first, and then then like people going back to school and Wakanda, the people
I
celebrating.
thought that was
half of the funeral. Half.
Yeah.
I liked the part of the funeral where you get the CGI, like the CGI projection of Iron Man talking to his daughter.
which I thought was a
that.
fake. I thought, oh, he survived it.
No. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were hoping he survived it when he
Yeah.
heard him talking.
I
Everybody's
wouldn't
gathered.
yeah, he gone.
that was
gone.
dope, man. How
I mean,
they-
he Iron Man. He can like do some,
Yo,
some magic, but like,
and
he
see,
can't do this magic.
Yeah.
with that, I ain't going front. It got me in my throat. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see that part.
I'm talking to
yeah.
the daughter. That part?
Yeah,
that part-
there's a lot of moments that got
Oh,
me in my
yeah,
throat.
yeah.
but-
Yeah, again, manly tears every time a father talked to his daughter in that movie.
Yeah.
Be it Cassie or what was his daughter's name? I really hope they don't mess up Ironheart. Anyway, Morgan, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What I didn't need was the scene of, now let's put the first arc reactor on the lake and watch it go away, and then the Oprah shot of.
You need those.
Yeah,
You need those.
I didn't need that.
You need those
and
little
I
moments.
especially didn't need that one shot of all the different teams of the MCU. All I had was Oprah in the back of my head going, you get a franchise, and you get a franchise, and you get a franchise. And hey, Brie Larson, I know you're standing by yourself, but you get a franchise.
Well, I mean,
You know,
Nick
I didn't
came
need
in
that.
and he was. All right, cool.
I didn't need
all right,
that.
so, all right, with
I
that
didn't
said,
Yeah. I
do
would have
you,
rather have seen the
for
world
all
back
around,
together.
with
you know.
going all around, do you think that this is the biggest superhero movie and the best superhero movie that we've gotten? For
Okay.
me, I'd say yes, and here's why. I'll put this to you. Yes, because of the scale. Yes, because of what we saw on screen, but also the degree of difficulty we have never seen.
high.
The amount of hype and supporting that hype and not crumbling up under it is a huge deal. And
Just
being
as,
able
The
to
Force
add,
Awakens.
being able to, yeah.
Actually, I
being-
would say ask the Phantom Menace.
yeah, but
You know.
being able to bring some sort of closure to 22 something movies
I'm doing a video.
is
A feat.
it's a feat.
Okay.
You gotta you've got to give them something.
Well, and
22 movies
in
to provide some kind of no other movie has had this.
And only 5 bad ones, in my opinion. Think about that.
And then think about this. Even the bad ones are bad by MCU standards, not Fox standards.
I completely
sorry.
disagree. I completely disagree.
Dark
I
World?
would rather watch
Would-
Rise of the
would you-
Silver
Iron Man
Surfer
2?
before watching Dark World.
Okay, I
Really?
wouldn't say
I'm
that. I
serious.
wouldn't say
I'm
that.
Wow.
Now,
really?
the first Fantastic Four is criminally crapped on. I enjoy it.
We're counting it in the MCU?
No,
No, what
I-
we're saying is,
Marvel
what I'm
is
saying
better
is,
than
even MCU's bad movies are better than the bad
Oh, yeah,
movies
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
like
of
it's
Fox.
like
X-Men
it's like,
Origins
okay,
Wolverine.
I don't like Dark World, but Dark
Fox
World
got
still beats.
Fox
would-
has
Fox,
some
like Dark
trash,
World
man.
still beats
No, no.
Apocalypse. You know what I'm saying? Dark World. So it's like you're grading it on its.
Last Stand.
It's like when you're grading like a Prince album versus another Prince album. You're not grading
Hey.
a Prince album
Yeah, but
versus
see,
like.
out here.
Yeah, but
but
see,
that's what I'm saying.
the
Even his
comparison
albums
that
that
you
you
just
don't like
made-
are better than
Yeah.
albums of other people
But-
that you know.
Yeah, but the comparison that you just made was a Prince album versus a Nickelback album, and I'm saying that ain't exactly the case because Fox has been holding it down in their own right. Okay, they really have.
They've been-
they're at 50-50 with X-Men. All
Yeah,
right?
I'll
And
give you that.
and
They're at
that 50%.
25-75.
X-Men 1, 2, First Class.
46.
First class.
Well,
First Class.
They've
They've got
Logan-
First Class,
Logan-
and they've got
No, they've
Days
got
of
one. They've got two. They've got
First Class, Days of Future Past. That's all they got for me.
Logan.
Logan.
See, but I don't count that as an
Wolverine?
X-Men movie.
Counts.
But it is Fox. It
Wolverine
is
counts.
Fox.
It's in there.
Wolverine's an
Fox.
X-Men.
So all right, I'll
It's
give you
Fox,
three.
and starring Hugh
And
Jackman
X-Men.
Three. I'll give you three.
and Deadpool.
Deadpool.
And Deadpool
Counts.
2. So they're at 50-50.
But that's outside of the X-Men. That's
They got X-Men in it.
you're trying to get that Coke and
You
Coke
trying
story.
to say new Coke ain't Coke.
No, you trying to
The X-Men are in the movie.
Exactly.
Nah, man. I ain't talking about
I'm
slide
talking
open the door and be like,
everything. I'm talking
in a-
everything, all right? But yeah,
X-Men, man.
and personally, I would rather, and again, this is just a personal preference. Now, to answer both the questions that you asked, is this the best movie?
Comic book.
Academically, this is the best comic book movie ever made by the numbers of filmmaking. Okay, by the numbers of
All right.
filmmaking. Is it the best in scale and scope and difficulty? I would have to say it is tied for first. And I
With-
will say this.
With
Welcome. This is why I'm the sorcerer. Our job is to like read everything and know all the stuff. Okay. I still believe a man can fly. Okay.
wow, really?
Given,
you know what?
Given the difficulty of
What they
making
did at the
Superman
time-
in 1978, it is
Okay.
on the exact same level as
Given-
making
yeah.
this new Avengers movie in 2019. Okay,
I'll
will
give you
say
that because there are at the beginning of special effects when you talk about like the first Star Wars and when you talk about Superman and stuff.
True.
They were doing things with like miniatures and they were doing stuff
close-up
that was
flight
like
scenes.
not so.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
okay.
close-up
Practical
flight
stuff.
scenes of
Yeah.
Christopher Reeves leaving set with Margot Kidder.
Yeah.
look still to this day look better than any other flight scenes.
I'll give you that.
we have managed to pull off with any
And
of
I
our
covered
special
the
effects.
anniversary, and it still holds up.
Yeah.
It's still,
Yeah.
it's still an
So,
enjoy.
is
Like
it-
he's still because regardless of the effects, his charm is still there. Lois Lane is still
Okay,
there.
yeah, but
Now,
this
you know,
isn't about the
effects,
best Superman movie
but
ever
yeah,
made.
sorry.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
you're asking if it's the best
The
live-action
effects,
comic
yeah,
book
some of
movie.
the stuff. Okay. I see where you're coming
Academically
from.
by the book? Yeah. Now, is this the best as far as scale and scope? Duh. No, I can't think of one franchise that played this kind of long game. Not one.
Crazy.
You know, I
Crazy
mean, they
long
managed to do in 11 years what Star Wars couldn't pull off with 12 years of pre-production prep. And I'm talking specifically between Jedi and Phantom Menace. Marvel did in 11 years with this whole franchise what Lucasfilm couldn't do with all that lead time before the prequels.
Well, here's the
And as a Star Wars man, I'll give you that. Because
Were they even thinking like that back then?
But
As soon
I
as they decided to make
like
the
without
prequels,
Star Wars, you probably don't have the MCU in the way it's built.
I will
So
give
it's
you
kinda-
that.
Yeah.
I will give you that.
But what I would say is that there's a difference between Marvel Studios and Marvel Entertainment as a whole coming together, layers upon layers. You have Kevin Feige, whoever he's answering to, Ari Arad, I think is his name. And then
Avi Arad.
Then you got Russo brothers, where you compare it with Star Wars, where I feel George Lucas had the hubris to say, I'm not going to bring in these other people. I did it this way in 77. I can do it this way in 99.
Completely forgetting that
Yeah.
the best
Should've wrote it.
that the best
movie.
movie.
Directed,
Yeah.
It was,
Well,
No, not even that. He should have brought in people to look over the script and be like, hey, George,
Oh,
this.
you mean somebody that
Oh,
didn't know?
oh,
this.
you mean no now?
Got it, a director.
To kind of check him a little bit.
Bring
Yeah.
in Spielberg or maybe Kevin
'cause I
Smith at the
still-
time
I
and
still
be like,
wonder
no,
what it
you
would
should
look
do
like.
this.
Spielberg
There's too
Yeah.
much CGI. you
Well,
know?
I still wonder what it would look like. The same general vision of the prequels, like the same arc, but directed by Spielberg.
No, not
I
even-
still wonder what that would be like.
The screenplay and the script, no.
Yeah.
The screenplay and the script, that's why, was it Christopher Marcus and Feely, the writers?
Marcus and McFeely.
Yeah.
That's why those dudes need to be locked down for the next 20 years at $1 million per and say, yo, because it starts right there with that script. I mean,
Yeah.
it probably starts with Feige guiding everything, but when it comes to the detail and doing the callbacks, having the continuity,
Yeah.
I understand James Gunn
being
came
very
in
aware of what's going on online.
and the dialogue to be able to make it all work, that's where it starts. So, yeah, Spielberg would have been nice, but he still got George Lucas' script.
Yeah, and as long
True.
as George Lucas is penning with nobody saying, George, we love you. We love what you did with the whole merchandising franchise. I still want to slap you for copyright stuff, but people don't talk like that.
Right.
That's not how people speak to each other. I realize they're aliens,
My lady.
but aliens.
I hate saying it's so rough.
It is
It
rough.
gets everywhere.
It lost me at the beginning. Let's make a kids movie that talks about the problems with international trade tariffs. I mean, sorry. I know at 11 years old, even my not quite young for my age self wasn't going, I was actually wondering what would happen if we changed the APR and pushed the interest rate of international gold. The soy thing is going to be a big thing for the future.
I had to really look into that.
Let's look into that. Oh,
As you open your Wall Street Journal.
yeah, exactly. No, when I was a kid, if this movie was made for kids, I was looking for space wizards with glowing swords.
Right.
Not economic, not a quick lesson in economic
Politics and
tomfoolery.
stuff like that. Like,
Yeah,
I don't care about none of that stuff.
But I mean, for me,
So-
absolutely, I've been holding on to Dark Knight, and I almost put Black Panther up there. I almost put Infinity War up there. Absolutely putting this up there because not only did they give, first of all, Star Wars fanboys have a seat. Lord of the Rings fanboys have a seat.
I'm already sitting.
To paraphrase Kanye West.
If you say it's a choice, I'm out.
No. It's a choice to agree with it, yes. But Endgame gave you the best battle scene ever of all time.
All time, son.
I
All
would say
time.
for about another 5 hours. Yeah, there is something that's going. All right, yeah, we know what's going on. We even know what weekend it's coming out, but I know you don't watch it. I don't know about you guys, but tonight's HBO television show is going for a 90-minute.
He's talking about the Game of Thrones.
Oh my God! I got that thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
We can't count
the
that.
best battle scene of all
It
time.
might. This one might be the one.
Well,
And I like
see,
Saving Private Ryan as
you're
well,
also
but-
talking PG-13 to R, because you know
Okay,
on HBO
you
they
know what?
gonna,
I will give
you know,
you
we ain't gonna be able to, you know.
But
Can't
I will
show the
say,
head
as
explode,
far as
get the head chopped off, can't show none of that stuff.
well, see, as far as like comic book adaptation superhero movies, because the best comic book adaptation movie I believe I've ever seen was The Road.
The what?
The Road with Viggo Mortensen walking his son through the apocalypse.
Yeah.
However, the best superhero live action comic book movie, I have to say, it's a three-way tie for me. It really is a three-way tie as far as live action goes. Four-way technically, because I just said Dick Donner's Superman 1978 was tied at number one.
All right.
But the other two are still A, The Dark Knight, and B, Winter Soldier. Specifically, not just because of the filmmaking or Chris Evans's amazing performance. Why do you have to go? It's because in this day and age, and at this time where we are with movie franchises and just global politics, Winter Soldier is still, and was still, the Superman movie that the world needs at this time.
Okay.
And so, of course, he was my favorite character in Endgame, because everything that he did as Captain America was the Captain America that I always wanted. I went into this, again, I'm not a great big fan of Iron Man as he's been played in the MCU.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really not. I got three reasons. And one, don't at me. All right, at me. I need followers. But one, as the lifelong comic book fan, he is not Tony Stark as much as he is Reed Richards, in the sense of he's the smartest guy in the room. And the way that he's been presented in everybody else's movies and the Avengers movies, he might be the smartest one, but everyone else around him seems stupid, including Bruce Banner. And that's not cool.
Okay.
Because Marvel Comics is, it's bleeding with super scientists. You know, Reed Richards, Harry Osborn, Otto Octavius, Peter Parker, Tony Stark.
Everybody's super
Bruce
duper
Banner.
smart.
Black Panther.
Black
Yeah,
Panther
yeah,
got
T'Challa.
With
You know?
these movies, I always wanted, like, there's so many people that can like meet for the first time. I would want Iron Man to meet Shuri. That's what I wanted.
I was going to be one of my. That was going to be one of my.
Because when Shuri met Bruce Banner, he looked real stupid.
Yeah,
Yo,
and see,
it
I
was
was like,
funny
bro.
because he was like, huh, I never thought about it. And she was like, well, you tried.
Yeah.
You
And
did
So I
what
would
you
want to
did.
see how her arrogance, along with
Right, and see, that's the
Tony
thing.
But her
It
arrogance
was-
isn't like a Tony type. Hers is
Her
kind of
arrogance
like,
is youth.
it's like
exactly.
yo, I'm
Like,
cool, I do
youthful,
fun
and
stuff.
It's still
That's
different
it.
flavors of jerk. And again, so being glad that he's gone, specifically because it gives the other super scientists time to shine. I think my favorite
Alright.
aspect of this movie was Professor Hulk. Because you got to see Bruce Banner actually being smart and not being this kid chihuahua following Robert Downey Jr. around doing everything he said.
Good point. Good
You
point.
know.
Okay.
I said elsewhere that I thought Marvel did a great disservice. Kevin Feige, and I can't remember the brother's name for the life of me. I know I should have Googled it. My bad.
Who you talking about?
The black producer in Marvel. He was well on Black Panther and a couple of other ones. He
Is it
said,
Tendo Naginda? No, not Tendo.
You're just pulling out African words.
No, Tendo Naginda was
Saying
he was
random
a
African
producer
words.
on Queen of Kotwe.
Okay.
So I thought he might have been because he's in the Dempsey family.
Okay, all right.
And they made
got
the
put
point
that
to say
one. Okay.
Shuri is the smartest person in the MCU. And I said, don't tell me, show me. She should not have got snapped. She should have been in that lab with Stark, with Banner, forging that Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, 'cause-
and we could have got some good
Was
banter
it-
between
See, I
them.
don't really follow like who's confirmed to be in the movie or not to be in the movie. Was it confirmed that she was gone?
Yes.
Yeah.
was
Well,
confirmed.
it showed up. I think that she was missing. I don't think they know she
she's gone. But
Yeah.
just, like,
I mean, they were
didn't
all
know
with
she was
Lang,
gone.
but I'm quite sure Okoye would know for a fact.
And the
Remember,
poster-
Okoye was working with them, so she would know, if she's
Okoye-
gone or not.
So now that he's gone, I want to see more super scientists to show, like
Reed Richards.
I'm gonna.
No.
That's gonna be special. Okay. It's gonna be special.
I don't think they know what to do with it. Well, we get to that later. But I don't think they know what to do with it.
One thing, like, I have been an avid follower of the live-action Spider-Man movies since Sam Raimi's first one.
Okay.
And everyone's going, well, Raimi or Webb, and it's like, Andrew Garfield, for everything that was wrong with those movies, they did show that Peter Parker is a genius. Okay, just coming up with that Webb formula is something that no high school sophomore can do. Like, none.
Yeah.
And it's like, it takes a super scientist, super genius to do something like that. Now, we got a little bit of smart out of Spider-Man Homecoming. And I'm hoping Far From Home shows a little bit more
builds
smart.
more on that.
Because, again, as far as like the 616 universe goes, we got Reed Richards and Victor Von Doom, Tony Stark, T'Challa, Shuri, Otto Octavius, and Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
And then right under them we got Spider-Man, Bruce Banner, Doc Samson, all those guys. And so I'm like, all right, well, now that Tony Stark is gone, bring on the rest.
Yeah, bring them all out. Bring them out.
I realize you got to make people look stupid around your cash cow, because that's your cash cow.
You gotta allow him to shine, because that's what people kind of gravitated towards at the begining.
Yeah.
Billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, genius.
Yeah, but I love the
not
response
king.
to that. He said, I love when Cap comes back at him with that line talking about, and I know guys worth 10 of you. And it's like that, because that was an amazing line when he came back. Now, start with you.
Yes.
What do you want to see next, man? What do you want to see next?
I want to see them slowly trickle in X-Men. Slowly.
Okay.
All right.
Don't go too big.
Well,
And I think I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do it.
I think, the thing is, we were talking about earlier, is they're probably sitting there scratching their brain like, how do we introduce them? Because what they don't want is Wonder Woman. Like, chick, you've been here 100 years and you just now coming to help?
okay.
Where was you when the aliens came down? You've been here. Where was you when the aliens came down?
They could play mutants as isolationists. They could do that, but still somebody would have to know about it.
But they did that with the humans, so it's kind of
yeah,
like...
so
Or
they-
the snap
yeah.
could have did something to people.
See, that's what I
don't
was
know.
They got smarter people than us gathered in the room trying to figure out how do we do this.
Lots of burgers downstairs.
I'm not gonna go as far as smarter. I'm just gonna say better paid. A little more inspiration.
Now, I will say this. Maybe they play on something with, some I guess bursts of like quantum energy came out or something, or maybe the fact that Cap stayed back because he
Maybe.
wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, maybe.
And technically,
There's a
Technically,
whole lot
him
of
staying
butterfly
back-
effect thing going on.
The ancient one
because-
talked about it, like things diverging.
because technically he put everything back except himself. And even though,
That's big.
All right, let's say this. All right,
Well,
this is weird,
What
but
was
let's
he doing in the 50s now?
Well,
that's the
Was he
question.
just
let's say this.
being
Let's
regular
say,
Steve Rogers,
he
just
was
chilling with?
he was with a woman that her job was to keep secrets. So even if he stayed in the house and just lived with her, and they loved each other, had married, and didn't have any kids, made sure not to do nothing, but just be with each other. The fact that he's even breathing air that should not be breathed,
Is it
It's
bad
gonna
that I
change.
or
watched that
breathed
movie?
in, whatever.
Is it bad
he's
that I wanna see
existing
that?
in a time that he shouldn't. That could change things for
yeah, it definitely
mutations
But hold up.
and who knows.
You said something that made an assumption that we don't know is true. We know Steve Rogers married someone. We don't know if it was Peggy.
Cool, true, but we see them dancing
That is true,
together.
but that don't mean
so
he married her. You are
He
correct.
might have got that
fulfilled his
dance and been like,
He may have got married a couple times. We don't know.
Good point.
That is true.
Remember, he got that super soldier serum. You know, he
Super soldier.
got enough for enough.
Yeah, great. I see the future now.
this is a family show.
Super soldier.
Well,
now I see the future. It's like, you know,
It was like, dang, this is what
Five. He meets Ethel.
Serum.
You know?
You know what I'm saying? He's thinking like, dang, this is what the life is like. It's like he's probably thinking like, Tony, I owe you an apology.
See?
Now, to answer your question, I gotta say, what do I
super
wanna
serum.
like? What do I want to see in the future? I got 3 words.
All right.
3 words that I want to see in the future. Okay. Victor Von Doom. That is what I want to see in the future. because
that's right.
we need
Oh,
a really
Chrome
good.
hand, you know what I'm saying?
Well, we need a good antagonist now because the world has seen Thanos, and I mean he's got a code. He was not right. Study economics. You know, it really comes down to everyone's like, oh my God, Thanos! Oh my God, Thanos! Oh my God, Thanos! So I'm like, yeah, give me the bad guy that conquered the universe, got bored and gave it back. Give me the dude that could have been Sorcerer Supreme, but it didn't feel like it. Give me the dude that has a country that could take over the world, but he's so busy running it efficiently that
also,
his hobby is scrolling with superheroes.
How about the guy that can give us the acting range? Because I think we talked about this. The guy who said, you know what? If I was Reed, I could do it better. Gets the opportunity is like, oh snap,
See,
I'm not Reed. And being able to, and having to reconcile with that I got to change things back because I'm not Reed and I'll never be Reed.
honestly,
Not that I'm not smart.
He's talking about Doom.
He got on
talking about
Doom. Okay, when was this? Guys, you'll help me in the comments.
Yeah.
Was it after Secret Wars? All right, there's an opportunity.
Yes. It was after
Secret Wars.
After
and-
Secret Wars 5, you know, because there's a secret
and he
and
gets
war
an opportunity
every 10
to be
years.
like, well, I'm like kind of like God Doom, and I'm going to go back and be Reed because I know better.
Yeah.
I know better.
And
He
then
don't
he
know
found
nothing.
out that he was just a terrible
smarter.
person.
Yes. And then he finds out no matter what, like Reed is a better man than me. Not that I'm not smarter, or I'm not cool, I'm not strong, or I can't fight. He's a better person.
Shout out to Jonathan Hickman for being the first writer in comics to actually show that for once.
Yeah,
'Cause
that
I've not been a fan of the Fantastic
someone
Four
who
for
can
a long
play
time.
that deep character arc could be interesting. Could be real interesting.
Well,
and
I
I
don't-
love
He could-
Doom
but
because
he could be in like every kind of just be there like Thanos was, but maybe even
Yeah.
more of a presence in these films.
I'm not going to give my fantasy
Like-
casting because if I give my fantasy casting, if they decide that, oh my God, that eccentric dude with blue hair had a good idea, but if they go with that, they might have to pay me, so they wouldn't go with it. But I do have a person in mind that we'll talk about off screen. But yeah, Victor Von Doom, Marvel Cinematic Universe, criminal mastermind.
Metal Face the Deathstroke.
Metal. Yeah, seriously.
You would think, and if he exists before Thanos, he would see his failures.
Yeah, because he
too.
could have
And
he could have
probably-
seen all these
I
things.
don't care when they bring him in as long as it's before the Fantastic Four. Establish him
So-
as
oh,
a
you
threat
want
for
him-
everybody else.
and
Yeah.
then the Fantastic
And
Four
then the
can come in.
Fantastic Four can come in either with the oh, him. Yeah, we go back.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, we know
Yeah.
we
you
know
know,
the history of
hi,
it.
I'm Reed Richards. I'm the smartest guy in the room. And even Rhodey, give it up to Don Cheadle for being the shade thrower in this
Yo.
one. Don Cheadle going, you might think you're the smartest guy in the room, but we're dealing with this dude from Stan. You know?
Yeah.
And so see that. But yeah, I want, if not Victor Von Doom, an antagonist that actually lives up to that because
Okay.
it was hard for me to buy Loki. It's like Loki's
Well,
bad, and it's like
Well, they
he
showed
unleashed
him
the
being
space
bad,
army.
and then he got popular, and they were like, let's reel
Yeah.
it in a little bit. Because he was sort of on this genocide thing for a second,
Yeah.
and then he got popular, and they were like,
Yeah, and they came close with Baron Zemo, like they came
Yeah.
close, but not enough. And Ultron.
But the thing I like about Baron Zemo and
And I
stuff
like
like this
robots.
are their threads that can be tugged, because these are people. Even Abomination, for a certain degree, can be used as a tool by someone like Doom because he's a loose thread.
Same thing with Zemo, another loose
Yeah,
thread. He's
so
still alive.
so you have
Like
these people
Ultron,
that
they
are
can
kind of
find
loose
him
threads.
somehow
Well,
and
yeah.
utilize them the way it should
Well,
have been
Ultron is
utilized.
software. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, my thing is that after Thanos, I think they're not gonna go galaxy extinction wide
You think they
event.
go more
'Cause
close
it-
to home?
Yeah, because it's like, who do they have within the Marvel universe that can top Thanos? Who do they have that's gonna bring everybody together like that?
Galactus.
Galactus is not on that. No, I'm sorry, I don't believe he's on that level. yet.
Galactus, Fire Lord, any of the celestial things.
Maybe the Celestials, yes.
Mephisto, Death.
Mephisto.
Mephisto's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but
they've got
Yeah.
threats.
The only
that
one
are-
I'm thinking
how
of
they-
is Apocalypse, done right.
Done
Yeah,
right.
but see, the only thing
How?
is, the only problem is, but see, the thing is, we thought about how with a whole bunch of stuff MCU has figured out to work in a live action setting. I think the problem with Apocalypse right now is we gotta let it cool off for about 5 more years
No,
before we do, because people remember,
We gotta
people
find
remember
a
Poe
writer.
Dameron. So you know what I'm saying. We gotta let it cool.
We gotta find a writer that can actually write him in an interesting manner, because I'm sorry again. I guess I am the voice of dissent. Go back and read X-Men from the '90s and tell me that Apocalypse is still cool. Because I tried and
I actually still dig Age of Apocalypse.
you know.
Age of Apocalypse is still dope to me.
You know what? Since you brought that up, that could be a storyline they could
Age of
explore.
Apocalypse?
Yeah.
Well, what I will say is that
But they burned it.
yeah.
They're gonna have to let it cool because Fox
they gotta-
burned it up.
Well, what I will say is that
Maybe like 5 years.
even in the pages, just in the comics, Marvel has always had a hard time with Avengers and the X-Men in the same universe.
Yeah.
Primarily because you've got hundreds of members of each team.
Yeah.
And you're already asking the question, and this was always kind of my problem with Marvel of, okay, we get that the Marvel offices are in New York, but you got the Avengers in New York, the Fantastic Four in New York, then you got Spider-Man in New York, and then you got the X-Men in upstate New York. So why aren't they crossing paths more often? And X-Men has always been written like they're in their own universe.
Yeah,
At least
X-Men
they were
has
smart
always
enough to
been-
put the Inhumans on the moon. You know, I mean seriously, because if they introduce the X-Men now, then just like the Captain Marvel question that came out when Brie Larson's movie came out,
Where you been?
where were you when there was a hole in the sky and giant air whales and armor were coming out? Where were
and
you
we're still
during the
looking
army of giant robots?
We're still looking for the explanation from Nick Fury why he even pressed the button there.
Oh, that's easy, because, can't you see Sam Jackson going, they had it? And then it's like, what do you mean they had it? And then Sam Jackson looks at you with that eye.
I think if you were
drops the
disappearing
MF
the way
bomb
they
and
were
then calling it
disappearing,
a
I
day.
think that's kind of a moment like, okay, I need to press this
Yeah,
button.
exactly.
But before that, like, aliens, he already knew about aliens.
Yeah,
He
like,
was,
yo,
he
we
already
got
saw
Thor
aliens.
stuff. This is
so he
what
wasn't
I got.
scared anymore.
Now, you know the biggest question I asked when Avengers came out is
First Avengers?
First Avengers.
Okay.
Biggest question I asked was, where was Rhodey? And here's why. I don't see the U.S. government having the ability to deploy War Machine during that conflict in New York and going straight to a nuclear weapon. Like, I'm like, why you got War Machine? Why not use it? Or even on top of that, why didn't we see any like F-18s or F-16s or F-210s or whatever? What are they called? Cool jets flying around. But there was like, look,
'Cause they
this is
couldn't
Avengers.
they
This
couldn't-
ain't U.S. government.
Well,
that is
no.
not the name of this movie.
They couldn't afford Tom
This ain't
Cruise.
the Pentagon.
I know the whole thing. You needed Tom Cruise and Anthony Edwards up there.
I heard to get sidetracked, but I read somewhere Tom Cruise was considered for Tony Stark.
Yeah, as was DiCaprio.
Thank God neither one of them got that.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't have minded Leonardo DiCaprio because he had
wouldn't
already
mind
played
Leonardo.
Howard.
That would
Yeah.
be interesting.
Leo would have been.
But let's face it.
I'm not mad at that.
Let's face
Cruise,
it.
absolutely not.
Given Iron Man's literary history and Robert Downey Jr.'s real history.
Yeah, it
was
kind
one
of
of
it was a
those-
fit.
Oh, it's like
was-
casting Patrick Stewart as
it was a
Professor
fit.
X. It was like, okay,
was
all
a
right, I
fit.
got nothing. I got
It was
nothing.
a good fit.
Yeah.
Well, here's another question I want to put out to you guys. The portrayal of Thanos. There were already people just pissed off that Thanos mollywopped the Hulk. Some people said, oh, well, he had the Power Stone. That's why it augmented his power.
No.
But then people
wasn't
said,
gonna use
it
it.
never glowed.
It never
Wasn't gonna
glowed.
use it.
So people were still mad about that. And here, I'm like, well, if you were
were
mad
mad-
about Infinity War Thanos, you got to be extremely pissed off with
Well,
Endgame,
yeah, let
'cause
me-
he was handling all of
Let
them.
me answer this. Let me answer this for everybody mad about the Hulk
Do it.
in
Do it.
Infinity War.
Go ahead.
See, Thanos said, "Oh, you strong. That's nice. Let me show you about this technique, though."
Thank
so
you.
you don't know about
Thank you.
hack.
Thanos.
He got and then
His
next thing
strategy,
you
he's
know,
a-
lay down.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
true. It's true.
You got raw strength. Cool, that's great.
You know.
got me a couple times, but you don't know about these pressure
see,
points,
and
son.
But you
the
got
whole
to think
thing.
about this too. Who was challenging the Hulk before that? Huh? Who was really challenging
Well, he
the Hulk?
had been-
Who was
Abomination,
the Hulk
that
in
was
the
it.
throat?
Abomination was the closest.
Yeah.
Abomination was the closest,
I would
but
say
it's
Thor.
been a long time since
Yeah,
I would
right.
say
Thor.
Thor.
But even Thor and his back and forth wasn't like
They
a
weren't trying to
bloodlust
kill him.
fight.
Wasn't
yeah.
trying to kill him.
Yeah, so
Yeah, okay.
so he ain't
Thanos had
you ain't fought
technique.
nobody.
Yeah, that's true. That was Hulk finding out that he was a big fish in a small pond.
And Thanos was like, I ain't gonna even give you all of this work.
Yeah, all this
I'm gonna
work.
give you this part-time work. Because if I give you all this, you dead.
I'm
I'm trying to take you
I'm
out.
gonna give you this temp, you know what I'm saying? This little temp time on you,
See,
slam you on the ground and
this
be
is-
like,
And this brings me back to the super geniuses because I wanted that intellectual moment between Tony and Rocket. That's what I wanted.
Did we? Nah, we didn't get that.
No,
didn't
we
get
only
that.
got a line. We only got the raccoon saying, "Hey, back off, boy. You're only a genius on Earth." I'm like,
that was, that
And
was
I'm
nice.
like,
That was a good line, that was a good line.
That was nice.
yeah. So you
It
know,
was like, look, this.
Calm down. You
Because
going
dude did make a cool gun out of like scraps in jail. He was like, okay, here we go.
yeah, that exactly.
But I
They're
think
like random
Thanos-
scraps.
He's resourceful. He's very resourceful. That's why I like Rocket.
And there are actually people that are mad that Thanos handled Thor like that. I'm like, are you watching these films? Thor is broken. Thor is fat.
Yeah, I was about
Thor
to say,
ain't
are we
put
gonna
in-
do the elephant in the
Right.
room?
Big
Thor
Thor,
ain't put
Fat
in
Thor.
no work in 5
Thor?
years. You
Yo.
really thought he was going to get with Thanos?
He's the
Come
big
on.
Lethorsky is really
Yeah.
what he was in that one.
But I won't front. The dual wielding did. I was just like, when he threw that joint up and hit it, I was like, oh shit. And, until Thanos was like, oh, that's nice.
Okay, help me
He
understand.
used Iron Man as a shield. That was messed up.
yeah,
I thought he was about to do a juggernaut on Iron
Nah,
Man.
he was just like, oh no, I see that coming.
yeah. Now, quite honestly, like my elephant in the room was I was expecting at some time for Thor to do some Asgardian magic and,
And
again
become
manly
Ben-
tears
Ben
moment again
Thor.
and become the big blonde
Yeah.
Australian that we've come to know over the past
Like that,
yeah,
like
10
the
years.
like the electricity to like
And-
burn all the fat.
Yeah,
Like that.
and my
Yo,
mentor.
I actually, straight up, I thought that was gonna happen. I thought it was gonna be like,
Yeah,
it was gonna be like, bam, what up, y'all? Come out looking like he been in jail for like 10 years. Like, what?
I think his power level needed to be kind of calmed down a little
See,
bit.
yeah,
and I
for
think
Thanos to kind of like
yeah, and
Yeah.
my
Be
mentor
dominant.
was like, my mentor liked that they didn't reduce the weight, and he's like, well, I kind of looked at it like Thor has gone through. He is the most tragic of all of the Marvel characters.
Yeah.
Yep.
He has lost the most. He has the most on his mind. So the external weight was symbolic of the internal weight that was going on in him. And I'm
there
like,
we go.
Okay, all right. I didn't see that.
And I wanted
I'm
to
like,
get into
okay.
that moment next, so I'll jump off. When you finish, I'll jump on
Oh
that.
no, that was my point.
So, how do you guys feel? Because here's my statement. I think Thor had the most emotional range in this movie.
I don't know about that,
No,
but
no.
I think
but
can't say that.
it was a good
dealing with
performance.
what he lost and then having to face his mother and then his mom having to drop jewels
Oh,
on him
ain't
and
gonna
then
lie.
having to be like,
Yeah.
all right, let me get back in. Because knowing being like, this is the day she dies.
Not gonna lie.
And then
Yeah.
being like,
And
no,
the way
you
that she took
you have to be you.
Yeah, she's like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
she was
like,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm
I don't
kinda
even want to
done,
know. I'm not interested in that. You have to be you. Be the son that I raised, and that's tough. For
Manly
him to be
tears,
like,
bro.
Man, I was
Manly
like, because I was just like, man, because you start. I ain't gonna front. I was in the theater thinking, as we get older, guess what? Our parents are not gonna live forever.
Exactly.
And I saw that mom, and I was just like, I gotta call my mom. I love my mom. But it was kind of deep, and I was like, yo, Thor. Even though they play him for a lot of jokes, I think they play him for a lot of jokes because it's one of those like you have to laugh to keep from crying
people
things.
crying. Yeah, I felt they've been doing
So
that
how
since
y'all feel?
Ragnarok, pretty much.
Honestly?
Like, and the Ragnarok definitely were doing
I don't think that Thor had the most emotional weight and like the homo. Honestly, I think that scene. And one thing I like about this movie, although it should have happened a lot earlier, was the answer to every cynic's question out there. Yeah, I'm talking to you, which is why is Hawkeye on this team? He is the one that went through the most stuff. That pre-credit scene.
Yeah.
Me up.
him losing.
Yeah,
the
yo.
Him like walking around. Hey,
And his
wait,
first major words to his surrogate sister, "Don't give me hope."
Yeah.
I think that seriously, he was gone. He was seriously, even more than Cap.
Okay.
Even he had already lost everything. And then the one person on this planet that he cared about came dangling the idea that he might be able to
fix
get
this.
it back.
or bring it back.
Yeah, he was like, all right,
exactly.
I'm ready. Let's
And,
go. He was ready.
yeah, so I think that now don't get me wrong, Thor lost all of his people. He
Yeah.
watched his dad die, watched his mom die, blah 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 blah.
But I think
Heimdall,
in Endgame as a
Asgard.
movie,
Yeah.
Hawkeye definitely had the most
Yeah, I think, but watching Hawkeye,
ups and downs and
because
everything in between.
if you take a look at all the Avengers movies, Hawkeye has come out to be the real heart of the team. In the first one, he had his mind taken over by Loki. How does he feel about that?
Boom.
In the second movie, he had to let everybody crash at his house and find out that he got a family. Okay, but then his talk with Scarlet Witch on the floating rock of Sokovia saying, I'm on a floating city trying to save the world against an army of robots, and I got a bow, and I'm doing it because this is my job. And then everything that they show Ronan doing in this movie, like, where was this Hawkeye for the rest of the thing? Because he had just lost it. He had gone almost full Punisher. He was at 90% Punisher when that came
because
back.
those people were not left alive. They said they were talking about the Mexican cartel or whatever. They were like, he said you can see they never got a chance to get a shot off. So that shows like he was not playing games.
No.
He was,
Punisher.
he was that broke.
Okay.
I know there's got to be a 5-hour director or producer's cut that has
I don't want it.
so much on it because I would love to see
cut.
something.
Yeah, because I mean, you have to cut something.
I'm still looking for the 7-hour version of David Lynch's Dune. I mean, I'm good.
I'm good.
But to me, one of the underrated emotional moments in the film was Tony Stark getting back on Earth and pretty much ripping Cap a new role.
Yes.
Yeah,
That was good
Tony Stark,
because that's exactly what I was going to go to. So finish your point.
Tony Stark. Yeah, that was great.
It was like, yeah, don't forget, it's still FU on site.
Yeah, there's still a lot of people. Honestly, I have been waiting for that conversation because I've been talking about this for years I don't really see their friendship. And so that commercial moment from Civil War, it's like, I'm sorry, he's my friend. So was I. How? How is he your friend?
They were friends of necessity, I think. It's like, look, we got thrown together.
You know,
We kind of like we've been thrown together, and we make it work because we make it work.
well, it was finally good to let that little motorcycle pass. It's so cute. It was finally good to just see Tony finally air it out. He finally aired out. I'm
Now-
like, good. Now y'all can move on. Now you got it off your chest.
With that said, he brought up, why didn't y'all? If y'all would have just let me do this, let me do that, let me do this. Do you think it would have mattered in the end?
Hell no.
That's what I was bringing it up for. Do you think it would have mattered?
What was his points again for Cap about if he let me
Because
do-
remember,
I
he
forgot
wanted
what
to create
said.
a suit of armor around the world. He wanted to kind of like
Ultron.
deputize all heroes and stuff. He wanted do you think it would have
It wouldn't
worked?
work because it wouldn't work because Cap wouldn't allow that to happen.
No.
Forget that. It wouldn't have worked against Thanos.
Say if everyone said, yes, we agree with you, Tony, let's do this. Do you think it's
No,
still...
because he wouldn't know the power of Thanos. He would underestimate.
Forget Thanos. What is the point of doing that to save the world if the world isn't worth living in? I mean,
Do you
seriously.
think with the
Okay.
I'll tell you this.
suit around
90% of the Germans in World War II, 90%, or let's say more than 50% of the Germans in Berlin in World War II were very safe. They were safe, they were ordered. Would you have lived there?
Probably not.
And that's what Tony was talking about doing. We're going, it's like
Like a full military kind of situation.
yeah, it's I'm gonna put the whole world in jail to make sure that it lives.
And that's what he was doing with Scarlet Witch.
yeah, and it's like
Having her kind of
and
in the
Cap
house
was like,
safe,
one,
but she can't go nowhere.
and Cap was like, one, that's not what this country is made of, and two, that ain't living. That really ain't living.
Okay.
You know, and that was Cap's whole point.
And-
And Tony's point was like, yeah, and look at what living means. You know, your whole thing about living lost half of us. You know,
Yeah,
Three.
they both make good points.
And three,
Finally.
Tony Stark had no answer for Thanos. Plain and simple. He didn't. He didn't. He beat Thanos. Yes, he beat him with his smarts. I will say that. It wasn't about brawn. People wanted to see Thanos Hulk 2. I don't know why, because he was going to get whopped again.
Yeah, he would have.
But they did not beat Thanos. They didn't. They outsmarted him. The only way
I mean, it's
Tony
still a win.
Hang on.
I mean,
What do you
fighting
mean
is still,
beat
they
as
outsmarted them. Doctor Strange beat Thanos.
how so?
Yeah,
This
you're
entire
right.
movie was
this
that
whole
one
movie
plan
is
that he talked about.
that one way that. So yeah, actually,
this was Doctor Strange's
actually, this goes all the way back to when Doctor
know.
Strange was straight balling like, yeah, you
Okay.
look like a Thanos.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, you never dealt with a master of mystical arts, and like Thanos was just like, man, don't make me kill you. But he was, because when we saw the ancient one, the ancient one was like,
You think Strange was plotting
Okay.
in the whole entire
We
time?
already knew. Matter
Yeah,
of
we
fact,
already knew. This
they
was the
showed
one
us
way.
that in the scene where Tony is like fighting and fighting, and Doctor Strange is holding back the rain of fire. And he looks at Tony and he goes,
Yeah.
like, this was that one plan.
yeah.
And that was like Tony going, oh, this is what you were planning. All right, cool. And
Yeah.
that was the
and
moment
even
that those
Tony
two had
asked him, and he
respect.
said, "If I say anything,
It'll
it
mess
won't
everything
happen."
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
like,
the thing
I
of it
can't-
is, there was a moment of luck to some extent in the fact that they built this new Infinity Gauntlet on his tech, which allowed him to one interact with the glove, and two using the nanites to go in and take the gems.
Yeah, I mean that was a good pickpocket. I will say that Avengers Endgame is the second best heist movie I've ever seen.
Time Heist.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Time Heist was great.
Yeah.
You know,
Pretty
Still beat with a
solid.
pickpocket. Still beat with a pickpocket. I gotta say.
Yeah.
So yeah. Best
bad.
because I'm old as Ocean's 11 starring Frank Sinatra and the rest of the Rat Pack.
OG.
But
And then we got to see America's butt. It was like something that was silly.
I'm out.
It was something that was silly, and then you're like, okay, it's kind of funny. It's silly, but it's also kind of funny because we're seeing all these scenes from different versions. I mean, from different angles and perspectives, and it was kind of funny. Something to cut through, like how crazy it was. And we got stuff like Hail Hydra.
Yeah,
Like we got
Hydra,
those
that-
moments.
You mean that little nod to the latest Captain America?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And we all knew it. Like when I saw it, I was like, oh, he's gonna whisper Hail Hydra, it's gonna work.
Of course.
And they let him through.
I thought with the elevator, I thought it was going to be
Another elevator
someone-
scene?
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't think
Instead
they
of
were
Cap
that.
was going to start at this time because they weren't expecting
I
it.
was praying
That was
that
better.
it wasn't going to be that.
I didn't
I'm just
I
like,
didn't think
no,
you needed to go
no,
through
I know that angle.
You know,
Oh my
I
God,
love-
it's the same lighting. No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And see, they
Almost
did
the
that.
same
I
guy in the
love that.
elevator
I
too.
love how they
Except
played with that.
Sidwell or whatever.
Yeah.
He was the only one that wasn't on the
Yeah,
elevator.
and I'm
before.
just sitting
Yeah.
there going, okay, good. It didn't happen. It didn't
Yeah,
happen. So.
and I really love how they played with that. Now, speaking of that, how do you guys like how we played with time in this? I thought it was pretty solid in the
Kept
way,
it pretty
solid in the at least in their logic. They played it pretty solid.
Yeah.
I also love the throw to Time Cop. Always love Time Cop. Come on, man, Van Damme doing the splits in the kitchen? What? But anyway. You know what I'm saying? The throw to Time Cop
And
is a
opposed
classic.
to everywhere else, he does the splits. You know?
But in that one, it was water. He could have got electrocuted.
Kickboxing as opposed to blood sport.
And opposed to him selling cars with doing the splits throughout the passenger
It was
window.
all the commercials and everything. Yeah.
But he couldn't have got electrocuted in the other ones.
No, he could have just been ripped apart by two rowdies. just saying.
But
Hey, you know what? I ain't mad at him. If I had his kind of money for a single trick,
Yeah.
I'd be doing that trick all the time. Kinda like Tim Burton.
You pay me for this trick?
Wow.
What time? What time? What place? Let me know.
so when it comes to time, do you think these guys were tight? Because I was looking at the logic and I was like, okay, I see why they're doing
And
it, how
the
they're doing
extra
it.
jump back to the 70s
Yeah.
Okay.
was something I didn't expect at all.
True.
Yeah.
True.
I was like,
Because
okay.
Loki was just like,
It reminded me of. It slightly reminded me of. Weirdly enough, Inception, where they had to go deeper.
Yeah.
oh yeah, you're right. They had
they
to go
can do that? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Well, that was the thing. Like a lot of the problems that they were talking about with the ticking clock. Like, no, we only have so many pin particles. You've got a time machine and the time stone. You're good.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
okay, I've heard that. We've only seen 2 people use the time stone.
Everybody can't just be like,
and you know what? I give
You
you
can
that.
open this thing up.
Everybody got an Infinity Gauntlet.
And it takes a lot to do that.
you can't be hitting the Naruto joints and be like,
Yeah, okay. But
Like, oh,
they still had a time machine.
open.
Yeah, they still had a time machine. So it's like, we only have so many pin particles unless I go back in time and get more from Hank. In
Yeah.
the 70s, the 80s, the 90s,
and
shortly before.
and a nice
the-
moment, and a nice moment with his dad, and that was cool, man.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, I didn't like that."
No, I mean, I was all right with that. That scene would have meant more had it not had, in my opinion, the best comedic scene in the movie, where it was the phone call to get Hank Pym out of his office.
Oh
That whole,
yeah.
Yeah, we got a package, but it's kind of glowing green, and 3 of my guys are sick. You didn't open it? You didn't open it, did you? Yeah. Damn it. I'm like, that's how to get a super scientist out of his office. you know, we got this thing for you, and it's messing with people. And it's like, was I expecting something? I don't know. I'm a super scientist, and it might explode. Okay, I gotta go.
So we gotta get out of here.
You know, so, and had that scene not been there, I would have felt more with Tony and his father. Okay. But I was too busy
Which we
laughing at
should have known Tony was a goner because he got to
Tony got to wrap up everything he wanted.
he got to hear from his dad that he loved him. That should have been like, oh damn, he's.
We should have known that at the beginning, where it was like, if I get back to Earth, I'm gonna go to a farm. I'm gonna settle down with Pepper. Pulls out picture. Look at my kids. Look it up. Yeah, whoever lives through that.
Yeah, because look at any war movie. When someone ever's like, man, I can't wait. What, like, if someone's in the war, I can't wait. Get home to my girl. I'm gonna have such a good time. I'm gonna be right back home.
You see the
so
opposite
happy.
where they're gone, you're there still. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
So what you're telling me
somebody
is
gotta go.
Grey
Somebody gotta
Worm
go
isn't
out
gonna
of the
make it
story.
tonight.
No, he is
Before
not.
I got into the movie, I knew Iron Man was a goner. I knew it.
I didn't.
I just
I
didn't
thought it
know
was gonna
how.
be Cap. I thought it was gonna be Cap.
I
Yeah.
didn't
Now, I
expect
like
him-
what they did with Cap.
I didn't expect
Yeah.
him to die, and yeah, I'm right there with
I
you
like
with
what they
Cap,
did with Cap.
because he gets his ultimate happy ending.
Yes.
He really gets his ultimate happy ending. Who knows? They probably might be like, oh, well, Steve Rogers is still alive and he's old. I'm Nick Fury. You know me. I need another right hand. So come on the field and do some paperwork, because you're still
paperwork.
living in the 21st century, and you can buy things with money like housing. You know?
Or even more so, because what did they establish in Endgame? He said you're trying to send Scott through time instead you send time through him.
Scott, yeah.
Which means
And I
that
like-
they
that they
can
can
send
de-age
time through Captain America and get him
youngified.
young again.
Yeah, that all depends on, one, if Chris Evans decides to come back.
Does he like
Yeah.
money? Does he like money?
You know what?
But I think he might be good. He might not have to, but he's our Captain America, regardless of whether he comes
Even
back.
if,
He's
Hey,
even
can't
if
say
it's
that.
Hey,
slight,
can't say that.
I'm fine with slight appearances.
No, I
Yeah.
can't say
Hey,
that.
I'm gonna say
Like a nod or
Are you
something.
going to throw it to like the '80s joint?
No, I'm
Or-
not going to throw it to the 80s joint this time. I was saying that Patrick Stewart was my Professor Xavier, then came McAvoy. So I'm like, you know what?
that's pretty
Okay.
good.
So you never really know.
Well, what
You
I'm
never
going
really
to
know.
say
All right,
is
Yeah, they can find something.
Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford swore they were never coming back.
Right? Right?
yeah,
Of
good
course,
point.
Harrison Ford only came back to make it super clear that he's never coming back. I'll come back
do this
to
on-
kill my character.
Yes.
I'm done. I never liked you, George. Just let me get high and fly my helicopter. You know, that's all you
It's like
to do.
I'm done. I never liked you, George. But at the same time, George, you're the whole reason I have a career. So
Let me get that bag.
Because I've always thought that was funny. It's like you hate Star Wars a lot for something that put you on, son. It's like,
You know
like
what?
this thing put you on, and you're doing a lot of hating.
Garth Ennis hates superhero comics.
Well,
You know,
yeah.
and Frank Miller hates everyone except for himself and, you know, tiny women who are subservient. So,
I'm sorry,
Yeah, good point.
who hates who? Who hates who?
Garth Ennis.
No, you
Not
said
like
somebody else.
Frank Miller.
Frank Miller hates everything.
I'm not a big
Really
fan
don't
of
like
Frank.
Frank.
No, I do
really
not.
don't like
Nah.
this guy.
I'm just saying, every writer has so many stories in them.
Yeah.
And Frank Miller spent all of his juice on Sin City, and
Yeah.
then he replaced it with Crazy. So,
Apparently, I gotta go look crazy.
Got it. Look, just a little bit.
Yeah, so-
But with that said, guys, we've covered tons of stuff. You guys, thank you for hanging with us. You can throw stuff down in the comments.
Yeah.
Let's keep the conversation going. But there's tons to talk about with this movie. Predictions, your favorite moments, all that good stuff. So starting from the end, my homie Anthony, where can the wonderful people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at AntPooh. You can find me on YouTube at the QA. And you can also go to podcastjuice.net. We have the longest running Prince-themed podcast going on 13 years this year.
Really?
Yes, we do. As well as our other... No, stop that.
Get to brush out the chaps. You know what I'm saying?
As well as we do more topical shows each week, every week on podcasts. Look us up on Downcast, iTunes, Stitcher, all of the places.
Cool. And Solar Grey.
Yeah, hey, once again, thank you guys for hearing me out. And everything you're going to say to me in the comments, you can just point over to backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. You can also check out our shows over at twitch.tv/BID_P. We do 4 live cast a week because I don't like sleeping. And you can also head over to our YouTube channel, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/BID_P, and hit us up on all the other social media, Twitter at Back in the Deck, Instagram at Back in the Deck, and SoundCloud.com/BID_P.
And Arckatron.
You can find me on all social media platforms at ARCKATRON.com, also at the website. Yeah. So where can I find you, sir?
Well, you can find me right here, youtube.com/NERDSoul, that's NERDSoul, or online, ThatNERDSoul, ThatNERDSoul, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It's all good. Hip Hop and Geek, put it together and let's chat, whether it's that woo, oh yeah, or the track. Either one, we down. We can talk about both of them. So thank you for hollering at us on that Avengers Endgame. Until next time, y'all stay cool. Keep it low, because you never know. People might be coming for your head. So from us, you were just saying, peace.
On your left.
Cool.